Honorable Molaja Olaoye is with me in the studio this morning. With him, we'll be making sense of what happened in Abuja and what social media is doing to political ecosystem in Nigeria. Honorable Molaja Olaoye, good to have you here.
Good morning to you, Samson. Thanks for having me here today. If you're at home, I say good morning to you, and thanks for listening to us and watching us as well.
You are a member of the APC.
Yeah.
And you can't be said to be just a member. You're a stalwart. You have been there a long time. You have wined and dined with the highs and mighties in the APC. And you have witnessed quite a number of elections, whether with the APC or with other political parties. But definitely, you are well experienced. What happened in Abuja?
It is something that when you are talking about the politics, is well expected. And when you are talking about those who think they have the power of the social media, is another thing entirely. That is why you have to see the prominent one is one of their candidates in the opposition party in Abuja Municipal Area Council, that have been voicing out. So apart from that, like Wiki has said, is well expected, and Abuja has been delivered.
Now, before the election, there were perceptions, there were turnouts during campaigns, rallies. For example, in Amak, Atiku Abubakar was there and campaigned vigorously for the candidate of the ADC. And then Peter Obi was there, campaigned for the candidate of the ADC. But the shocking thing is that when you check the result of that election, you will be amazed at what really happened. I want to take the result of the election in Hamak, for example, and what this means for the ADC in the next election, and what it means for the PDP too. Because when you look at what really happened and transpired, you will be amazed that PDP won a particular council, which I'm still coming to. I will talk about these councils. But then ADC came second. So does it mean that number of votes does not really translate to how well you are doing in your particular unit?
Yeah. No really doubt about that. Because let's be sincere with ourselves. Obi has been told sometimes in the past that structure matter when you are talking about political party. Because when you are talking about the structure, you are talking about those people who have invested their time in it, who are the members, who are category members. Some of them are the executive part of the party. So these people really count. You can see that many of the votes, somewhere you can see 74, somewhere you can see 100, somewhere you can see 120, somewhere you can see 10, 11. That's for you to know what structure is all about. When you are talking about structure, it's not a fluke. A movement can be a fluke. But when you are talking about the structure, you cannot joke with it.
Now, taking a look at what the victory looks like for the APC. APC won, Joshua Ishaku of the APC won in Buari, and Christopher Michaelangu won in Amak, and very close margin. And that is Kasim Mohammed of the PDP, who won in Gwagwalada. Samuel Danjuma won in Koje, Nuhu Daniel Kwali won in Kwali, and Abdullahi Umar won in Abaji. These are area councils in Abuja. Does it mean that, to an extent, PDP still has an influence in Abuja, for example, which used to be their stronghold? They have won Abuja countless times.
Yes, many times they have lost Abuja as well. Because when you are talking about opposition party always win Abuja so many times. It is not about when it is not about when you are there or not. And again, the trend of the politics right now, the way the political the voting pattern is different from the past when you are talking about the rigging or no rigging. Now a lot of people are talking about the vote mine, but it's not like before when you are going to see in a particular polling unit you are going to see 1,000 plus or 500 or 600. You can see how little it was during this last election. So now we have to talk about the delivery. The delivery really matter when it comes to this election. Well, some people have seen a kind of view about some people who said even the ADC the ADC candidate. Nobody knows him. You cannot even pinpoint his area or where he lives in Abuja Municipal Area Council. That it probably is a stranger. But when you are talking about the candidate of APC, it's a different ballgame. Is a different ballgame. And when you are talking about those people who really represented PDP, it's the same as well. So now we are going to talk about. We need to observe the delivery capacity of the Minister of FSC right now. Because people talk about how he has made a lot of places that is inhabitable to be an habitable place right now, whereby a lot of people can be able to drive freely. They can, a lot of places has been cleaned in Abuja. A lot of security is now being provided. People still think about that. So really, it is not about when you are making mouth or this and that, but what happened in Abuja last Saturday speak much volume about the capacity
Now,
of Wiki.
let's talk about the voting pattern in Abuja. And 1999, the return to democracy in Nigeria. PDP candidate Olusegun Obasanjo at that time won the FCT with about 60% of the votes. And the opposition AD/APP had won about 40%. This reflected early dominance by the ruling party in the capital. In 2003, PDP again won in the FCT with about 50%. ANPP candidate Muhammadu Buhari got about 38%, and this shows that the PDP retaining a lead, though opposition narrowed the gap. And in 2011, PDP candidate Goodluck Ebele Jonathan secured a clear majority of around 64%. CPC candidate Buhari had about 33%. The FCT remained a strong base for the PDP at that stage. Now, in 2015, APC, Muhammadu Buhari and PDP Jonathan were close in the FCT. APC about 146,000 votes, and the PDP had around 157,000 votes. This was the first time opposition APC challenged PDP strongly in Abuja. Of course, they narrowed the margin. Now, in 2019, PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar won the FCT, and APC's Muhammadu Buhari came second. This result showed a return of the FCT to PDP, despite the APC being national ruling party. In 2023, Labour Party, LP, Peter Obi's political party at that time, won overwhelmingly in the FCT with 61% of the votes. And APC's Bola Ahmed Tinubu got 19.8%, and PDP Atiku Abubakar got about 16.1%. And this marked a significant shift compared to earlier elections, with the FCT swinging strongly towards a third-party candidate for the first time in recent Nigerian presidential history. So what I want to say is that in the last 5 elections in Abuja, PDP has been there. They've been so strong. Before, we now saw the Labour Party coming to sweep all the votes in the last general elections. So, does it mean that, to an extent, PDP has lost its stronghold?
That is the way elections are supposed to be. Sometimes it swings to the left or the right, any other place. It can be able to swing. That is the way the pattern of election should always be. But we have seen, like you said, PDP has already been carried away in FCT Abuja for a very long time. So when it's swing now, it should not be a surprise. We must be, the opposition has to sit down and look at where they held. Anywhere they held, they must be able to close the gap. That is what they need. But for now, because of the election that happened in Abuja, they have carried majority of have carried the day at the end of the day. But mind you, a lot of people who are not really from Abuja are in Abuja. Abuja is a central place where people from diverse ethnic groups can come there. But we all know, predominantly, a lot of people from the South and Southeast are there because they own Abuja. No doubt about that. That is why you can be able to record that kind of massive election during Jonathan time because they really give him support.
Okay, Honorable Mala Jaolai, kindly hold your thoughts. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, we'll talk about people who have reacted to what we currently see now as the election results in Abuja. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be back. All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still The Break Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Now we've been talking about the Abuja municipal elections. The result is out. It is 5-1. And APC has 5, PDP has 1. The ADC, as many votes as they gathered, has no seats in Abuja as we speak. But then people have reacted. And part of those who have reacted to this election, there are people, pressure groups, civil society organizations, and of course some parties, particularly the African Democratic Congress ADC, accused him of direct interference by visiting multiple polling units during the election. Even though he isn't a voter in FCT, and claimed his actions could intimidate voters and affect the process. They also criticized Nyesom Wike that the late night curfew declared before the election and its impact on voter turnout. Now, let's listen to Nyesom Wike after a brief meeting with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then we'll take Honorable Molaja's reaction after that.
I've always said it's not good for somebody. You wake up in the morning, you wake up in the afternoon, you wake up, then you just comment without really knowing fully what has happened. It was Mr. President approval that said, look, the movement should be restricted because of security report that people are trying to bring in hoodlums. Mr. President said this is what should happen, not to me. And he did not even read the speech. Just to tell you, busybody. And I want to say, it's not everything you must comment. If you must comment, go and find out actually what happened. If you look at it, by the approval of Mr. President, he has said restriction from 8 p.m. on Friday, and that we shall work-free day, so they can go back to their various area councils and participate in the electoral process. And this is not the first time, but you see, people who want, with all due respect, and I've always said so, people like Femi Falana must not always comment just because you want to comment. Comment on something you know about. Comment on something you have facts. You can't just wake up here, somebody say this, without even you verifying, investigating, before you make comment. That's not the way it is. It's not a popularity show. It's not a popularity show. And people like Femi should sometimes calm down and investigate. This thing they said, is it correct? It's not correct. I'm a minister working under the president, and the president gave approval. So I did not impose coffee. President has power to say, look, from so time to so time, that should not be based on intelligence and security reports.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live. And Honorable Olajola is still here. Nyesom Wike is saying, whatever it is you saw in Abuja was not my doing. It was President's approval. But some people have knocked Nyesom Wike for the fact that there was no movement between a particular period of time in Abuja, and some said it affected the turnout of voters. Can that be true?
It is going to affect turnout of voter, of course, and in order to not to breach the security, protocol, it is normal during the election to have a kind of restricted movement in order to forestall breakdown of law and order, and this is well expected. Even a lot of people that doesn't even have voters card will come out, or they can come to polling unit and wanted to influence election. So when you are talking about the curfew, that is a way to curtail any bad thing that can happen. This kind of election is strategic. Let's be sincere with ourselves. We are seeing about 2 or 3 PDP members that have stepped down. You must see that Wiki he has this. When you are talking about election, he know how he can be able to, he know how to deliver, and he has done it. And mind you, when you see people that complain, some people gave kudos to FCT Minister Nyesom Wike because of what he has done. A lot of roads have been tarred. A lot of places has been exposed. A lot of places has been motorable right now. So based on what he has done in Abuja, his achievement, I think that is what influenced this particular election.
Now, let's talk about social media and reality. People have made comments about the fact that, a particular candidate was making waves on social media. But unfortunately, when the results came out, it's not the candidate who has gathered more votes. So what would you say? Was that a miscarriage of justice when it comes to, what the votes eventually said, or probably there was a little bit of the election had some skirmishes one way or the other.
When you are we must realize one thing, that a lot of voters doesn't ever have access to social media. It is easy because you can see that particular man you are talking about, the one that is in Amac. He is somebody that you can see that he is like activist. And a lot of these people who are on social media doesn't have voters card. They don't belong to any political party. A lot of them are just accidental politicians. They saw the system.
But they have a movement. And the movement is expected to show in the pattern of results we're going to see. But unfortunately, it's not like that.
Movement can be deceptive. Movement sometimes can be a fluke.
Are you saying those who were part of that movement did not come out to vote?
Many times, because many of them doesn't have a voter's card. Let me sincere with ourselves.
And then how do you agitate for correction in the voting pattern when you are not a voter?
When you are not a voter, that is what I'm saying. A lot of them, you can imagine, some people said, despite the fact that they went to court, they said that the 1922-23 election is not valid. They said they were rigged out with the kind of vote they have everywhere in Nigeria. And the vote they have, it is sectional. It belongs to certain region. It doesn't cut across, according to the Constitution say. Because the Constitution doesn't want us to be biased. You are talking about people in the north. That is why former President Muhammadu Buhari said that a lot of youth are lazy. And it doesn't mean generality of the youth. He was talking about his people that doesn't go to school. A lot of them are not educated. So they can be doing unskilled job. But who takes it up? It wasn't the northerners he was talking about. It was people from the south who he has even been praising, and he want the people, the northern youth, to be the reflection of the south. And those people in the south are the one that is complaining on social media that he was saying that they are lazy. He was saying that they are lazy, and it wasn't like that. So let's be sincere with ourselves. This particular election has reflected what Wiki has done in Abuja.
So to what extent do influencers and politically aligned content creators shape public perceptions when it comes to elections? Do they mislead or eventually have an influence on the election?
They mislead the law.
So they don't have an influence whatsoever?
I am not saying they don't have an influence. Social media is the best way to sell your candidate. But at the end of the day, you must know something for sure, that it is not only social media. You have to sacrifice your time, you have to sacrifice your energy, you must be able to register as a political, just try and get your voter's card. A lot of these people doesn't have voter's card. This is what is happening. A lot of them were forced to have national identity number because probably they want to use it for bank or any other thing. Many of them doesn't want to have it.
So do you think urban voters in Abuja are usually more influenced by digital campaigns than grassroots mobilization?
Even the problem is with the urban. The voter registration is with the urban. When you get to a lot of rural area, a lot of them register for, because they have time, they can be able to do. You see a lot of elite that doesn't even have voters card.
Now,
despite the fact that they expose.
Talking about elites, let's talk about the voting pattern in Amac itself, which is the major Abuja municipal. Senator Ireti Kingibe, also, she voted in a polling unit. Let's see the result of the polling, Senator Ireti Kingibe's polling unit. It was there. Just 7 people voted. And that shows a lot about mobilization. So if a sitting senator cannot mobilize in a polling unit, what exactly does it mean for Nigerian voters in the future? Now, APC in that polling unit, ADC in that polling unit had just 2 votes. And of course, APC also had a certain amount of votes, I think 2. Then the rest, APC had 3, and the rest is 1 for PDP, 1 for SDP, total votes equals to 7. And that is the polling unit of a sitting senator.
That is how it starts. It happens in when we did by-election in Ibadan North as well. When you see a place like Abuja that is a very posh area, that belong to the elite, you can see them having about 3 or 4
So
votes.
elites are the elites major contributors to the leadership crisis we have in the country?
They are the major contributors to the leadership crisis we are having. They are the one that is going to be taking the shot. They are the one that is going to be taking or even what belongs to the masses. That is the sad part of it. When you can go to a place like Malete or Idiare and you see massive vote or Bere, and when you get to a lot of posh area, you are so surprised that these people doesn't even want to be concerned about what is happening about Nigeria. But when it's come to economy, when you are talking about inflation, you are talking about inflation, you are talking about foreign exchange, they are the one that's going to be making all the noises.
So talking about electoral influence, if digital campaigns cannot mobilize the so-called elites, then where do we draw the lines between free speech and miscommunication and misinformation when it comes to electoral campaigns?
There is no.
Should that be a stricter?
You can't, because the freedom of speech is always there. But now with the electoral reform, what do you say?
How about freedom after speech?
Yes, no doubt about that. That's what I'm saying. But
El-Rufai was free to speak, but then after he spoke, he's in DSS custody. He's been here and there.
There are limitations to what you can be able to say if it's not going to generate any kind of problem within the polity. There are some words you say that is going to override the polity. And we are talking about the freedom of speech. We are not talking about lying against somebody. Because by the time you lie, if you get to the court of law, if you do that, that is going to be turned to something else. So you are going to be penalized for that. You must be able to, there should be freedom of speech, but whatever you say, you must be able to back it up.
So managing,
that is when,
managing public expectation is something that is really important for an electoral body to do. Now, did INEC do enough, I mean, with other relevant institutions, to counter misinformation? Because right now, the reason you would say an election was rigged is because you had a perception before the election, which happens not to be so after the election. So, did INEC do enough, and some other relevant bodies?
I believe INEC has done enough. If you want to believe, if you want to say electoral rigging, or you have a dispute when it comes to election, it is not the work of INEC to do that. It is the work of the.
So, are you saying some people are being mischievous?
No doubt about that. And mind you, there was a situation that happened sometimes. The first time of Governor Adeleke, when he came in, there was a dispute about 2,000 votes that is not well recorded in a place like probably Olorun Shogo. And it was corrected when they are doing the collation, during the collation in the state, and they rectify it. But any other error that might happen, you have to put it in the court of law. That is why the law is there. And when you are talking about mathematics, 2 plus 2 will be 4. 2 plus 2 cannot be 6, cannot be 3. That is why you have auditing. So and again, even if you want to do the manual counting, you can be given all the ballot papers were there in the INEC, in which is you can use it. They will allow you to go and count it and tally, see whether it tally with what has been registered. So any misinformation, it is not the job of INEC to be able to correct it, because freedom of speech is there. But when you say something that is going to be very toxic to the society or override the polity, you are going to defend yourself. That is why we have DSS.
Okay, now let's talk about the fact that we now have political parties who are really investing in what you call social media. The Labour Party, the ADC, they have made some use of social media. I don't want to say if it is good or the other way around. But then, do you think the opposition are investing in social media optics rather than grassroots mobilization? Do you think they are doing too much of social
I think
media
they need both. I think they need both. What this president is doing, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is that he's been able to defend himself through different freedom channels. Whether you are talking about social media, whether you are talking about television houses, whether you are talking about radio station houses, all these media houses are there. They are defending him, and they can be able to explain some things that is not, it is not well explicit or well seen like it should be by the society. They are doing the reflection. That is why he is contacting a lot of them and say, you must say what you see, how this economy is. we are all here. How the Emir of Kano can be able, he will say what economics is all about. He will say what you see. Anything that is wrong, he's going to say it. And he have said it so many times that he's not campaigning for Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but he is being able to express himself according to what that we are progressing economically.
Okay, now, just before we go, if you could redesign how political communication happens during and after elections, what would you change?
I would just, all I would say is that all those people who are making mouth at in different media platforms, they must be able to register. With what we have, the changes we have had now in the Electoral Act shows that it's people that the politician needed. It is not certain people who are going to be deciding our fate before they even come to the election. Why not start from internet democracy, from different political parties? That is what I would like to change. And the misinformation by the people, we have had cyber crime and law that is going to be able to deal with it.
Okay, Honorable Mala Jaolawi, thank you for joining us on this show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a wonderful session with you. The Abuja experience reminds us that while social media is powerful, it is not the ballot box. Digital platforms have expanded civic engagement and political participation, but they have also accelerated speculations and amplified emotions. The task before us is balance, using digital platforms to inform, not mislead. My appreciation to Honorable Mola Jaolawi for sharing his perspective on the important issue. This has been The Big Story on Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Samson Balogun is my name. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, democracy is decided in reality, not online. Good morning to you. Up next is Trend Watch.